Okay, so you've got your planner, you've got your fancy pens, maybe you even have some cute washi tape, but here's the thing. Having a beautiful planner is not the same as having a functional planning system. I see this all the time in comments and DMs. You guys will tell me that you want content that actually helps you achieve your tasks and goals, but that all you can find online are videos about decorative and sticker planning. So today we are gonna change that. I'm gonna give you 5 practical tips to make your planning work for you and not just look pretty on Instagram. And don't worry, we're not gonna be sacrificing the fun stuff. We're just gonna make sure it has a purpose. Well, let's get into it. So what is functional planning? I would characterize functional planning by calling it a type of planning, the type of planning that helps the user achieve meaningful progress on their goals or tasks. So you cannot know what is functional planning based on looking at someone's spread. You just don't know if it's actually working for them or if it's not working for them. I feel like we get lost in this dichotomy where extremely minimal spreads are seen as being functional and colorful or cluttered, or sticker heavy spreads are seen as being not functional or purely decorative or just for fun. It's not necessarily the case. What's functional for one person is going to look pretty different than what's functional for another person. But I will say you have to be honest with yourself when figuring out if something is just for fun or if it's functional. So I have caught myself in this trap where I am, using tweezers to set down tiny little stickers for every little thing. And I'm telling myself like, no, these stickers represent something functional in the planner. These stickers tell me something at a glance. But when I've, had to go without the stickers, or I've run out and haven't bought new stickers, or I've just been without my stickers and I've still had to plan, I actually didn't end up needing those stickers that much. So all of that waffling about, no, I swear I need this tiny sticker with this tiny shoe to show you that I'm really working out, or tell myself that this is the appointment I have. Like, that honestly wasn't true for me. Now, it might be true for you. Those tiny little stickers might work for you. For myself, I found that using those kinds of stickers was more for fun than it was for being functional. But again, it's just going to depend on who you are and how you operate. So my first tip is to figure out how much deco is actually functional for you. And the easiest way to figure out if what you're currently planning is functional or just fun is by doing what I like to call the 1 pen exercise. In the 1 pen exercise, you try to boil all of your spreads down into just 1 pen. So if you're a bullet journaler and you're creating spreads in like a blank notebook, like I have an old bullet journal right here, try to create your spreads, even your most complex, the ones that use heading and stickers, try to create them all for a period of time, say a month, without anything else except for 1 pen. And I don't mean like 1 pen with multiple colors and a pencil attached. I mean like 1 color of 1 pen, just plain black ink or blue ink or whatever, but just 1 pen. And what this is gonna do is it's gonna force you to minimalize your planning by cutting out everything else. So those different colored pens, those highlighters, those stickers, let them melt away and start using just 1 pen. And what you're gonna quickly learn is what is actually functional for you. For example, I regularly use a highlighter. My most minimal spread on this page is probably this spread. And you can see that I've still used a highlighter. And indeed, in most of my planning throughout history, I will often use 1 pen, 1 color of highlighter, and like usually this like a bolder pen, like a felt tip pen of some kind. Because what always happens to me when I do this 1 pen exercise is that I can make things with just 1 pen work, but those additional elements like a highlighter or a brush pen, my favorite being like the Tombow Fudenosuke hard tip brush pen, that is about what I need to make my planning like truly work for me. So when you are doing the 1 pen exercise, maybe you're coming from something like this. This is a spread for my 2023 planner. There's lots of stickers, there's lots of colors, there's definitely a felt tip pen in a unique color, there's a highlighter in a unique color, there's washi tape, there's stickers that demonstrate what I was doing, there's stickers that are just for deco. And what's gonna happen when you're going from this to something like this, like just using 1 pen, is you're gonna realize very quickly which elements that are here are actually useful and functional to you, and which ones you're just doing for fun. Now, as I said before, the results whenever I've done a 1 pen exercise are almost never like, oh, it turns out I do just only need a pen. My results are usually like, okay, I need a black pen with a few different color options just in case. I need a felt tip pen to make headings so that things stand out appropriately, and I need some kind of highlighter so that I can highlight the important things so that I don't miss them. And this is really what I need to be functional in terms of planner supplies to set up any given spread. And I have realized that through the 1-pen exercise. So the 1-pen exercise is the first thing that I recommend to figure out how much deco is really functional for you. The second thing I recommend is to start grouping your tasks by context. Grouping our tasks by context is super functional because it helps give us a frame of reference. You guys know that I am a big fan of the brain dump, right? So just ignore this page for now. Over here, I have a brain dump that I just did for November, and it was really useful to me. I got out all of the tasks I needed to do in November, and I could have just worked off of this massive brain dump if I had wanted to in the month of November. But grouping tasks by context allows us to get a little bit more detailed and get a little bit more out of our task lists. So for example, you might group tasks by location, like work and home, or even errands when you're on the go. Or you might group tasks by your energy levels. For example, low energy tasks might be something like organizing a folder on your desktop computer, or high energy tasks might be doing laundry for you, or maybe high energy tasks is organizing a desktop folder on your computer. I don't know what your energy levels are like. I'm not here to judge. Knowing your energy levels, you could organize things like that. So in the past, I have organized my tasks with various methods. One that I talk about a lot is an Eisenhower matrix, but I actually want to show you what I'm currently doing now, which is organizing my tasks into 3 main buckets, and that is personal, work, and emails. So let me show you my most recent brain dump. Again, ignoring this side of the page, this is just notes, but on this side of the page, you can see that I have emails, a list of tasks, and a list that is just labeled personal. And I've been doing this because I find that having my work tasks separated from my personal tasks is really important for me. It is very hard for me to get stuff done when I see a massive list of everything I have to do that mixes up my work tasks and my personal tasks. But also my recent find is that when I break out my emails, I am a lot more productive on my emails because seeing my emails in line with my tasks just ends up leading me to procrastinate on my emails. I just skip over those and I move on to the task because I really like getting a task done and I really, really hate working through my email. So having my emails broken out actually gives me a clarity of mind, and I'm able to see like, oh, I just have to send these emails. I can bundle those all together on a weekend morning or on a workday morning when I don't have anything else going on and just handle them, right? So for me, breaking down my tasks by this type of context is really, really, really helpful. Again, you might have contexts like work versus home, or day job versus side hustle, or something. Like those types of contexts are fairly easy to figure out. But the reason I'm showing you my emails, work tasks, and personal tasks breakdown is because this is something that I don't see a lot of people talk about, and it's something that I found through a lot of experimentation when grouping tasks by context. So grouping tasks by context doesn't just have to be energy levels or location. It can really be whatever you want, whatever helps it be functional and usable for you. And for me right now, that's seeing my emails broken out in a separate list.
Let me hop in here and talk real quick about something that has been completely transforming my digital presence lately. Framer. You know how I'm always trying to find tools that bridge the gap between planning and implementation? You remember that? Well, Framer is exactly that for website creation. It is a no-code website builder that feels like using a design tool, but magically outputs fully functional, professional websites. I've been using it to refresh parts of my digital ecosystem, and what I like most is how it respects my paper for thinking, digital for storing philosophy. I can sketch my ideas on paper first and then bring it to life using Framer without consulting a developer or getting lost in code. What makes Framer super special is how you can go from idea to finished site so quickly. Their template library has over 700 options, but I appreciate how I can build from scratch using their intuitive interface if I want to. And once you're done, everything from SEO to analytics is handled for you. For someone who values simplicity, Framer is the dream. There's no need to juggle multiple tools or platforms. Everything from design to CMS is all in one place. I can create and update my website, manage my blog content, and even add scroll animations to make my webpage feel alive, all without writing a single line of code. The feature I find most impressive is their one-click localization. If I want my content available in other languages, Framer handles that translation automatically, which is really nice because I only know one language and I don't even know it that well. If you're looking to build or refresh your online presence, head to the link in my description box below to try Framer for free and get 25% off your first 3 months. Thanks to Framer for sponsoring this video, and now let's get back to functional planning.
Tip number 3 for functional planning is to use the visibility principle. So the next principle is about making sure you are seeing the stuff you need to see in order to be productive. I am a firm believer in the idea that if you don't see it, you won't use it, or you don't see it, you won't think about it. So I have 2 ways of doing this. The first way is that I have everything I need for a given week on one page. So in my weekly spreads, I will have my tasks broken out by context, as I just said, my emails list and my tasks list. I did not have very many emails to write this week, or I was just slacking on writing my task list, which is fine. So I have my emails broken out and my tasks broken out, and I have my schedule. And this is very important for me to all have on one page because this is the spread that I leave open on my desktop when I am working. So it's right by my computer or right by my keyboard when I am working at work, and it's typically on the couch with me or open next to me when I'm doing personal work at a coffee shop or in another location. And so all the tasks I need to complete are on this page. Let's look at another spread. This is another example. My tasks were not broken out by email and work tasks at this particular moment, but I have everything I need to do on the sidebar, my schedule on this side. And so even though I brain dumped a lot of these tasks on this page, I ended up moving them over to my weekly spread because I found that I was just not flipping back and forth enough here in order to justify having important things that I needed to get done on this page. I needed to have those important things that I needed to get done on the page that I actually had open, which was always going to be the page with my schedule. Maybe you're the type of person for whom the page you like to have open is just like a blank notes page. Make sure you have the priority things you need to get done on that blank notes page. Maybe you're a daily page type of person, or maybe you're even a monthly page type of person. Either way, I just recommend having all of your priorities and everything you need visible to you all at once. Now, sometimes this isn't always possible. There's a lot that we have to do in a given month or a given week or whatever your chosen time period is. And sometimes even when you have everything you need on a monthly spread, there are still things that you need to like flip back and forth to other sections of your planner for to just check up on or reference. So the second thing I do to make sure that things are visible to me all the time is I build in check-ins to make the invisible visible. So mostly these are in my weekly resets right now. I make sure that at least once a week I go exploring all the other things I need to see on a weekly basis. For example, I have a weekly check-in where I go all the way into the back of my planner once a week and I just look at my goals pages. This is the only step. It's just, I just look at the goals pages, and if there's anything I can check off or write down or note down while I'm here, I do so. And in fact, you can see my weekly routine in a video I recently posted where I walk you through step by step what I do every week for my weekly routine. But this step just makes sure that even though like the page I have open on my desk every day is this weekly spread, I am still building in time to make these things which would otherwise be invisible to me highly visible to me. So that way I use it because I can see it. Okay, my fourth tip is to have a daily inbox. And this is actually a tip that I saw referenced from a daily planner, as in someone on the internet who used a planner in a daily sense. I like to use a weekly planner, but I still think even with a weekly planner, this is a really good idea. So I'm gonna flip to a blank page. Most daily planners have like a timeline down the side, a place to write check boxes, things like that. But what you can do is you can have all of your daily planning on one page, and then on the next page, you can just write daily inbox at the top, and then everything you had planned to do stays sacred over here on the left side of the page. And then everything that comes up, every email you get that you need to address later, every random task from your boss, every question from a direct report, or every grocery list item that you think of that you need to add to your grocery list, you can just dump that in the daily inbox. And then you have a time period at the end of your day to clean out the daily inbox and either make those tasks useful and operational for the following day or resolve them right away, or put them, you know, maybe it's I need to buy plane tickets or whatever, but you don't need to do that for another month or something, so you put it in your monthly tasks. However you clean out your
daily inbox. What this is gonna do for you is it's gonna help keep tasks that just come up randomly throughout the day from interfering with your daily plan. I don't know about you, but I get like dozens of emails a day. My boss is always slacking me, and it's always for a good reason, right? There's stuff I need to handle, there's things I need to pay attention to, there are people with important questions that need answers from me. What ends up happening if I don't have a daily inbox or some sort of place that I check these tasks and park these tasks until I'm ready to work on them is that I get derailed from my daily plan. And then I'm doing things like not meeting my goals, not meeting my project deadlines, not delivering, whatever XYZ deliverable I need to send to a coworker or send to my editor or something like that. Because my plan has been so derailed by one-off tasks that come up that I'm not actually getting my daily plan done. So having a daily inbox is a really great way to just give a little bit of separation between your daily plan and your random stuff that comes up. Another way I've seen people do inboxes in their planners, which I think is a really good idea, it's just never worked for me, but another way I see people do that is by having a sticky note. They'll like glue or tape a sticky note pad to the front of their planner, and then that way anytime anything comes up, they can just like scribble it out on this pad and flip right back to the page that they were working on, and then they read an email that needs something that they need to work on, they flip back, they write it out, and then that's how they keep it away from their precious daily or weekly plan that they've worked so hard to create. And that's a totally good option for you too. I just want to say that wherever your daily inbox or weekly inbox exists, you need to be building in a regular time to check in on this inbox and make sure it's not getting too cluttered with anything urgent that you really do need to handle. My final tip for functional planning is to cross off tasks. Cross them off instead of checking them off. And I'll show you what I mean. When I was first starting to plan and first getting into the bullet journaling community, this is what a pretty typical daily log of mine looked like. This is obviously just like a pure deco spread. It's like a chocolate wrapper that I thought was really pretty and I put it in my planner. But this is what my daily logs were looking like when I was first doing like the bullet journal method and all that. It's pretty simple. It just has a date up at the top and then it has my tasks. And when I completed a task, I would physically cross it off. There's a pretty distinct visual style between something I have completed and something I have not completed. And that is really helpful from a glance. It's not going to be helpful for everyone to cross off tasks, but the reason I say this is because I think little tiny things like this, little tiny productivity things that you can do, like crossing something off to make it more visually distinct as something you've done from something you haven't done. The reason I think little stuff like this is so important is because I want to show you what happened to me after I started really getting into the planner community, especially like decorative planning. So this is a spread from my decorative planning days. These stickers are all Hubman and Chub Girl if you would like to buy any of them. At the time I was making this, I was sponsored by Hubman and Chub Girl, so just fair warning, that's why you see all of these types of stickers there, but I really genuinely did love using them and looking at them and setting up decorative and beautiful planner spreads with them. I don't want to focus on the stickers right now. I want to focus on another aesthetic decision that I made that affected the functionality of my spreads, and that is using these little circles and check boxes to denote when something was complete and when something needed to be moved or was incomplete. So for example, I would fill something in with a black marker or black pen that would note that it was completed, and then I would cross something off if it was no longer relevant, and then I would use this little forward arrow for those things that did not get completed but got migrated to the next page, right? Sounds pretty standard, and it looks pretty standard, but I made this change because I thought it looked prettier. And I thought it looked prettier because I was seeing a lot of people in the planner community check off their tasks using methods like this, and I thought their spreads looked great, and I wanted to make sure my spreads looked great, especially because this was also in like, this was like the second year that I was doing this YouTube channel. I was like, oh, my spreads are on camera, I want them to look really good. So I was actually making this decision of using these checkboxes that I filled in instead of crossing off tasks like I used to do, because I thought this was more aesthetic than this. However, this year, literally just this year, in the year of our Lord 2025, I have started going back to my old method of just crossing something off when I'm done with it. And let me tell you, the amount of productivity that this has given me is insane, because I can look at something and know right away, I'm done with this list.
Nothing else needs to happen. I looked out at this, like take this personal list, for example. This was last week's personal to-do list. And I can see at a glance, everything is done, except I didn't send this email to my manager, like my building man, about our AC leaking. That's the only thing I didn't get done. So I know just at a glance of looking at this that I still have one thing to do. And you might say, well, yeah, you can kind of look at a glance at this and also see that, you know, these things got moved and these things were completed. And that's true. But for me, this is just slightly less functional than this because I perceive any text that's not crossed off as something I still need to do. So this is definitely a tip that is highly related to my brain and how my eyes sort of take in information. If something's crossed off, I've completed it. If it's not, I haven't completed it. But I just want to say that for so long, I fell into the trap of my spreads need to look aesthetic in even these tiny little ways. So even ignoring all the stickers, like decoration, I knew at this point when I was setting this up that all this was just for fun and I could get by with just like a heading, a highlighter, and a pen. I didn't need all this deco and I knew that. I was just doing the deco at this moment in time because I thought it was really fun. But these smaller things like trying to make my planner look prettier for the sake of the internet affected an actual literal thing that I had documented proof of being successful for me, my habit of crossing tasks off completely. It affected how I did that functional element of my planning and how I eventually made it less functional for the sake of it being pretty. So find those types of things in your planner as well that you're doing that you're like, well, I thought it just looked nicer if it wasn't crossed off. Yeah, that might be true, but to me, this looks way more functional than this because at a glance, I can tell immediately what I've done and what I haven't done.
Functional planning is not about having a beautiful notebook, but it is about having a notebook you will actually use. So take these tips and incorporate them into your own planning and leave what works for you and what doesn't work for you down in the comments below so that we can all share and grow in our functional planning journeys down there together. And always remember, the point is to have a planner and a planning system that works for your real life, not your ideal life. If you want to keep hanging out with me, I have another video right here next to my head with that good planning content. Otherwise, thank you so much for being here, for watching, for being subscribed, and for being awesome. I love you so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.